Hi, everyone, and welcome to another installment of the TNA Press Pass live on TNA Wrestling's Facebook page. I'm your host, Tom Hannafin. This is such an exciting time right now for TNA Wrestling. Obviously, we are all here because of the ticket on sale, especially for Slammiversary, which goes down this Saturday, May 25th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time via TNAWrestling.com. This is a historic opportunity for TNA Wrestling for this year's Slammiversary. Not only the 20th anniversary of the Slammiversary event, which celebrates 22 years of TNA wrestling, but also it's our first time ever being live in Montreal, Quebec, Canada. We'll be at the Verdun Auditorium on July 20th, and then July 21st, we'll be coming back for TNA Impact the next night, our TV taping. So this is historic. TNA Wrestling, the last time it was even in Montreal was in 2011, and this is the first time ever we'll be doing any sort of television from Montreal. So we're really excited about that. Again, the on sale for tickets is this Saturday, May 25th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time via TNAWrestling.com. And on top of the Slammiversary Montreal on sale, we're in the midst of Montreal Week, which kicked off this past Monday with the best contest ever. This is a multi-week social media campaign that is going to end with one lucky fan winning an amazing prize package at Slammiversary. The winner is going to be named on the June 13th episode of Impact. The winner of the best contest ever gets 2 front row tickets to Slammiversary, full titanium perk packages such as commemorative photo ops, a special meet and greet with your favorite TNA wrestler at Slammiversary. So what you have to do is head to X, Facebook, or Instagram for TNA Wrestling to register for the best contest ever. Also, as a part of Montreal Week, some other specials. Yesterday, or rather Tuesday, excuse me, we did a Slammiversary DVD and swag bag opportunity giveaway. Yesterday, we had the opportunity for someone to win a Nick Nemeth autographed 8x10 color photo, of which I'm going to be announcing the winner of which in just a few moments. Today, a packed TNA swag bag is available for members of this contest. And then on Friday, you have the opportunity to win 4 general admission tickets to Slammiversary. To enter the best contest ever, the contestants for the Montreal Week prizes, all you have to do is go to TNA social media and tweet, or whatever we're calling it on X now, I guess post, we can call it that, and quote TNA's tweets for the contest. Follow at This Is TNA, or whatever the handle is for TNA on those social media platforms, and tag a friend. Reminder, the tickets, again, go on sale for Slammiversary in Montreal this Saturday, May 25th. So, to the point I was saying, we are prepared to announce the winner of the prized wanted man, Nick Nemeth, 8x10 color photo. So the winner is... Oh, this is great. This is a very, very dedicated fan of TNA Wrestling. I certainly see this person on social media often. Courtney Sawicki. That's at COURTNEYSAWICKI. Courtney Sawicki, congratulations. You are the winner of the autographed Nick Nemeth 8x10. This is very, very exciting. It's really nice because there's such a dedicated fan base on social media and attending all of our events. So it's really, really exciting. Now, this is Montreal Week. We're talking about Slammiversary in Montreal. This wouldn't be complete without my very special guest. At this time, I want to welcome in PCO, the French-Canadian Frankenstein, Perfect Creation 1 himself, as well as Montreal's own Speedball Mike Bailey.
Hey, Tom. How are you, Tom?
PCO, I'm wonderful. Mike, wonderful to see you. You guys are great company men. I love the hoodie and the t-shirt. PCO, I want to start with you out of respect to everything you've given to professional wrestling for decades now. This is such a special moment for TNA Wrestling. As I mentioned, the first time ever we'll be doing any sort of live television, Slammiversary live on pay-per-view and TNA Plus from Montreal on July 20th. And it's also one of the longest running pay-per-views in the history of professional wrestling. On top of that, getting to be in Montreal, you are in the midst of a very interesting situation that we saw conclude last week's Impact after the Champions Challenge. Bit smitten with Steph Delander as of late. So there's a lot happening in your life right now, and you're in Montreal right now doing a lot of media for the company. What does this all mean to you given everything you're feeling right now?
Well, I mean, being on the ground here in Montreal for the last 2, 3 weeks, you guys, you don't have an idea being here, right here in Montreal, how the hype, the buzz, and everything that's going on. Like already have like people calling me. Like they got two buses coming from Gatineau, which is like 2.5 hours, 3 hours. It's almost Ottawa. They're coming, to the show. They're just waiting for the tickets to go on sale. I got people from Hawkesbury, people from like Saguenay, which is another 6 hours to the other side, and Quebec City also. So it's like people from all around the province of Quebec diverging, like coming to the center of the province in Montreal. So I would say, really honestly, get on the ticket sale early on Saturday morning because like front row seats or second row seats or third, they're gonna fly like that. That's for sure. So if you want to have a good place in the general admission, I wouldn't wait too long to get my tickets. And this is gonna be one of the greatest pay-per-view ever. I can promise you that. My thing with Stephanie, I mean, it's something that obviously there's some electricity there, and it's building up to something, and I don't really know exactly, but I think it's going to somewhere where I don't know. I mean, in my mind, sometimes I don't know if it's an electrical malfunction, if it's reality or fantasy. I don't know, but I'm also very focused on the Saturday night, the 20th. For me, I mean, coming back home after 5 years, my last fight in Montreal, my last match. Uh, Friends that I haven't seen, like, I've moved to town in Montreal like 2 or 3 times, and I have different community and friends that aren't wrestling fans but are loud, and they're gonna be screaming, and I think it's gonna be just an amazing night. It's gonna be pretty crazy, pretty crazy. Can't wait. I'm super hyped up and I'm super positive, and but I know already it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be sold out to the maximum capacity.
The on sale again is this Saturday, May 25th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time at TNAWrestling.com. Speedball, I want to come to you tonight on Impact, which begins at 8 p.m. Eastern on Access TV and on FightNet in Canada. You will be facing your own tag team partner, Trent Seven, the winner of which moves on to Against All Odds, which is June 14th live on TNA Plus in Chicago. The winner will challenge Mustafa Ali for the X Division Championship, a title that you've held before with dignity, and you are a workhorse champion, in my opinion. Not to speculate too far ahead, but if you beat Trent Seven tonight, and if you beat Mustafa Ali at Against All Odds, who's to say that you don't walk into your hometown of Montreal at Slammiversary as the X Division champion? There's some pressure there, but what does this homecoming mean to you specifically?
Well, thank you so much, Tom, for that. I mean, it's very hard to not look ahead at Slamversary past everything I have to do between now and then. But all the possible scenarios are incredibly exciting. I know that whatever happens is going to be worthy of the expectations that people have for myself coming back to the biggest wrestling event that has come to Montreal in a very, very long time. I mean, I am looking at, here's what I'm thinking about. Here's what I would like to do. Here's the ideal scenarios for me. Beat Trent. Against all odds, beat Mustafa Ali. Then, in the weeks between Against All Odds and Slamversary, win the tag team championships with Trent. And then challenge Moose for the world championship at Slammiversary as X Division champion. No option C. I'm going for the double whammy, the Grand Slam. And then I can be X Division champion, world champion, as well as tag team champion with Trent Seven. I think that is the only scenario that is fitting of the excitement that people have for Slammiversary.
I love the lofty goal. That triple crown concept is very, very cool. So I'm
Right?
excited to see how everything plays out tonight. Thank you, first of all, to all the fans and media members from around the world that tune in for Press Pass regularly when we do this. Before we get into questions, please do limit your questions to one question at a time. Obviously, we have two guests, so their time is precious. Anyone who wants to ask a question, you have to virtually raise your hand, and our host will get to you. So, without further ado, let's start off with Jim Varsalone of the Miami Herald, a regular here on Press Pass. Jim, are you with us? I think we're getting Jim now. I think he was intimidated by PCO and his dashing good looks.
No, wait a second now. No, you know what? It's just that they're trying to get me signed on. But you know what? Anyone could be intimidated by him. I agree with that, though. That's
fair.
Yes, he is. So, all right. So I got the audio going. Sorry, guys, I can't get the video. I had the whole hockey thing set up here with the Florida Panthers doing the Canadian thing. We got the hockey playoffs going on. Anyway. So it's so cool that there we go. So this thing is Montreal. And there's so much history with Montreal. I mean, it's just a legendary and all. And I just want to go there, both of you guys, because look, both are different generations. PCO, unbelievable what you're doing, continue to do. Speedball, you're unbelievable. And I'm just curious too. So it's a two-parter. One, obviously, it's going to be what is it like, the history of wrestling in Montreal? And two, Speedball, do you get some satisfaction at seeing PCO doing what he's doing these days that you could be doing that too later on in life?
PCO, you want to go first?
Well, first I'm gonna answer you. Yeah, the history of wrestling, like for me, okay. Dino Bravo was the guy that I tried to emulate. Dino Bravo was a god in Montreal. It's a sad situation at the end of his career, but during his career, 7 years as a champion here and all over the world, that's the guy that I wanted to become. Really, that's him in Montreal just before he hit WWE with the blonde hair and everything. That was part of the history. I remember going to school, open up the newspaper at that time, not the computer, but the newspaper, and watching what's the next card. Oh, Dino Hogan, Dino and Flair, Dino and Bockwinkel, Dino and whoever was the top guy in the world, and Dino and Martel against the Road Warriors, so it was always like Dino. And for me, when I hear Mike Speedball saying he wants the triple belts, well, we have to come back after that in Montreal and fight for all those titles, Mike, because the world title has been always in my target of mine anyway. So that's good. I like someone who has ambition. I do have ambition. I'm not in this business because I need the money or I have to be here. I'm here because I'm here to achieve goals, and the history, the past of the Montreal history and whatever, the names that came with Edouard Carpentier, Andre the Giant, which is Géant Ferré here. It's a different name, but it was Andre the Giant. They started there, and a bunch of other names like Gilles de Fiche Poisson and Richard the Magnifique, Charlin the Magnificent Richard. So all kind of names that I grew up with, and Dino was really the guy that I wanted to be. And going to this mystic and incredible, legendary Verdun Auditorium is the chance to step in the boots of Dino, so to speak, because he made the Verdun Auditorium what it is as far as pro wrestling venue. It's a great venue for wrestling. It's probably the first ever with Paul Sauvé Arena and Verdun Auditorium. It's where wrestling was born in Montreal.
Mike?
I think the history of wrestling in Quebec is fascinating. When I started wrestling, it was 2005, which was a real down period. You had plenty of household names that people knew and loved from the 80s and 90s in Quebec. And then, as the wrestling world changed, and this is pre-social media, it all went down a lot. And then, until eventually 2010, social media, independent wrestling, and the whole scene came back. And PCO was a huge part of that. It's fascinating to see someone like him be able to have a huge career in the late 80s and early 90s and so on, and then kind of reinvent themselves and resurrect themselves, just like wrestling in Quebec as a whole did. And I think that he and I kind of share the same goal of trying to make Speedball Mike Bailey and PCO household names, just like Mad Dog Vachon and Gilles de Fiche Poisson and all those people that were known by everyone in Quebec. There is not a great uncle you can find that doesn't have a story of getting in a fight in a bar with one of the Leducs.
Yeah, that's true. Joe LeDuc and Paul LeDuc. Actually, Paul LeDuc's gonna be present in the front row at that show. He's still in good shape, you know, and he's very excited. So that's gonna be a good moment to see Paul LeDuc and some of the older guy that are gonna be present there, and trying also with Ross and all our marketing team. We're trying to get Jean-Yves Thériault, because Jean-Yves Thériault and GSP both they made the Verdun Auditorium very, very popular, because Jean-Yves was a kickboxer who sold out the Verdun Auditoriums over and over, ended up his career undefeated. After MMA started, George was the kid, and he went like for 3 years without losing, or maybe having just one loss. I think he didn't lose once in 3 years, and it was always sold out. So this is a very special place for fighting and wrestling and as a whole. So
Oh, look at that.
yeah, be cool. I'd be cool to have Jean-Yves Thériault there.
And you remember this guy, guys. I'll let you all go. I know you have other people, but there we go. There's the photo I wanted to show right there.
Awesome. D Destro's gonna be there, by the way.
There you go. Awesome. Thank you both
Beautiful.
so much.
Thank you, Jim. Appreciate it. Next up, we have Kevin from Sportskeeda. Kevin, are you with us? I believe you're muted at the moment, Kevin. Sorry.
All right, sorry about that. I'm enjoying the history lesson here on Montreal
Me too.
for the uncivilized peasants south of the border here in the States. I will boast though. I will boast. I'm in I would say the greatest pro wrestling city in the world, Chicago, Illinois, where you guys will be soon here with Cicero Stadium against all odds, a 2-night residency. Now, Mike, I don't mean to skip you, PCO, but I want your take on this as well. You're saying you're going to go for all of the championships over the course of the next few months. That's a lofty goal. Some would say that would make you maybe the greatest TNA wrestler of all time. PCO, I want to know your take on this, and obviously, Mike, I just want some more thought on that. That's a big thing to lay out there, to say that you want to win the X Division, the tag team, and the world title over the course of the next few months.
To make this back about Montreal and Quebec as a whole, it is so close to the United States, yet so far there is a very significant border in between, and there's a linguistic barrier that makes everything more difficult for wrestlers out of Quebec. PCO and I would not be where we are if we were not incredibly ambitious. The X Division is about no limits, right? And I'm the very same way with my career. I want it all. I want everything. I'm going to work to get as much as I can, and I'm not going to put any kind of barriers on what I could possibly accomplish. And again, that's time barriers as well. I don't intend to stop until I'm at least as old as PCO is right now, which is, you know, a tremendously long career. And I think that right now is setting the benchmark.
PCO.
Well, what I admire on Mike, you know, what he just said. It's how much efforts we have to put when you're from Canada, and especially from Montreal or Quebec, because we're not under the radar that much. There's a lot of talented players or wrestlers here, but they're not under the radar because they're not on the indie circuit in the USA, so they don't get picked up that much. So you have to, like, I had to go to Europe, and I have to go to Puerto Rico, and to do a lot of things to get noticed before I really got signed to my first deal. And to Mike's credit, you know, he did all that. And on top of that, he had like a big surprise when he got, you know, he was out of the US for 5 years. Many guys would have thrown the towel at that, if you can call it a failure. It's not a failure, but that adversity state of being there, you know. Why not starting a family? It may be doing another job, a regular job with something in front of me that's going to be, you know, forever, whatever. So my hat to Mike. He never even thought about quitting. And we're building the same kind of way. Like myself, same thing. I came back 2017. I mean, I came back strong because I had a lot of adversity, and I still do today. You know, wrestling, it's all about you're in the cloud, it's sunny, you go down, you hop, you're down. So it's very mentally challenging. And I think that's the fact that we're from here and that we went through so much adversity. That's what makes us warriors like that, or monsters, or you know, Mike, the way he fights and he gives it all. Me too. Like, there's nothing else in pro wrestling in my life. I mean, there's my family, you know, and things like that, but wrestling's my main focus, and that's why it's important that it's an anniversary for me. It's going to be in front of my mom and my dad. Uh, you know, it's a special moment for me. So I don't have anymore the opportunity to perform in front of my family, my friends, and my fans that can only follow me on social with whatever the highlight reels that we got from the TV tapings, or the one who watched Fight Network on Thursday night on TV, our show.
Thank you for your question, Kevin. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for the time.
Up next, some representation from Count It Out with Mike and Tyler. We always love hearing from you guys.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Very good. Thank you.
Good. So before I ask my question, I just want to say first and foremost that I cannot think of two better representatives and two better wrestlers to get this moment in your hometown than you two. The body of work you guys have put out over the last few years and over your entire careers is just incredible. Not only is all of Montreal going to be in your corner, but all of us in Canada are cheering you guys on. We're so happy that you're getting this moment. Which brings me to my question is for both of you. Talking about all this incredible work that you've done, specifically in TNA, I'd love to know what some of your personal favorite moments or matches have been so far in your run with TNA. Yeah.
PCO, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'm gonna let Mike go first, and then
Mike, after you.
Toss into it.
I have three matches that really come to mind as the biggest ones. Of course, going one entire hour or nearly 59 minutes and 30 some seconds.
I think it was like 48 seconds
48
to be
seconds.
very exact.
I know you'd have the number, Tom. That's why you get the big bucks. Yeah, going nearly an hour with the champ Josh Alexander, of course. Having the at that point highest rated match in TNA history, or in Impact history, with Will Ospreay, of course, which will be one of my favorite memories forever and ever. But also, I think my most cherished moment was winning the X Division Championship at the 20th Slammiversary in an X Division match, which sets a very, very high ceiling that I'm going to have to try to top on July 20th.
PCO?
Yeah, I got a few. I'm going to start with the first one. That was very important to me. I think we main evented the pay-per-view that night. Maybe Tom can correct me. Maybe not. Maybe it was not the main event, but it was it was for the world title, for the world championship title.
That would have been Under
Me and
Siege
Macklin.
last year, you and Steve Macklin for the
Yeah, that was
World
one of
Championship.
the craziest match, in my career, like that.
By
I
a
went
lot.
all out. I gave everything I could give, and also to me it meant a lot because I'm chasing that world title since I got in TNA, and so I felt like I was there, and you never know until that night happened what's gonna happen. And I really believed that, I could have get that title. And so it's always in the back of my mind. So this match was very special because it was mentioned as match of the year by many fans, by many people, and a lot of people haven't seen it too. It was violent. maybe too violent. It was a lot of things that maybe I would do differently, especially here in Montreal. Like I want to go crazy, but a big um the, a big thing about PCO's character, the kids are in love with that character, with the monster. I've got the young kids who feel like, oh, if something happens in their life, they can pull that monster and he's gonna protect them. So they're a great fan base for PCO. And I've got the parents because to them it's like, okay, it's persistence, it's not quitting, keep going. Life, it's not over at 40 years old, or at 50 years old. You can achieve great things when you're there. So I got those two extremes that are my fan base and in between. So that's the only little regret I have about that match, but that was one of the coolest moment because it was a world title and it's what I wanted. And I felt like I delivered like pretty crazy. And my feud with Jonah, my feud with Eddie Edwards, I was into feuds more than just one match. It was like more than one match. It lasted a long time, so it was more feud and than matches for me. And when I went to the ring, it's those moments where it's not just a Will Ospreay match. For me, if I would have to say a match, like it would be like the match of my lately in my life was not even in TNA. It was an indie show. It was me and Walter in Louisiana, and that was the resurrection at PCO. That was my 5-star match as far as I'm concerned. And I know if I'm put in that position, I can deliver that with my tools, with what I have to offer. So depending on what the situation is, who's your opponent, for me, it changes how I'm gonna think my match, how I'm gonna approach my match.
Thank you for the question. We appreciate
Thanks.
it. Going to Himanshu with 411 Mania, regular here on the Press Pass. Himanshu.
Hey guys, it's Himanshu from Mirror. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Can
we
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you. Yes, we can.
Ok.
Yeah,
Bonjour à
oui.
tous, ça va bien?
Ben oui, en français?
Oui, un peu.
Okay,
Well, I just wanted to
okay,
speak some French because you're going to Montreal.
go ahead.
Okay, my question is to both of you. So in February, we came to know that former president of TNA, Scott D'Amore, was no longer in the company. Now we've had multiple TV tapings in the post Scott D'Amore era of TNA. What do you feel is different about the new regime, so to speak, compared to the old regime? And what would you say has stayed the same?
Well, Mike, if you want, go ahead because I have another perception, and I want to see what's your perception because I'm aware of maybe other things, and so we might have two different perceptions on that.
Of course, no problem. I have great appreciation and respect for Scott and everything he did, and he's greatly missed within the company, but also TNA is still TNA. Everyone still has the same vision, the same perception, the same direction, and I think Eric Young said it best, and we got to keep going, and we got to keep moving along in the idea of TNA, the philosophy behind TNA, and I think we've done a fantastic job doing that since Scott's departure.
Yeah, for me, yeah, it's exactly what it is. Like Scott had a great vision. He wanted TNA to be big and to be, one of the main wrestling company in the world. And I think the new regime has got the same vision. That's what they want to do. That's why we're at one of the greatest venue in the world, the Verdun Auditorium. It's going to be great for Slammiversary. Exactly.
Himanshu, thank you for your question. Next, we're heading around Europe. We're going to start in Ireland with Jerry from the Irish Wrestling Podcast. Jerry?
Hey guys, thanks for your time. First of all, Slammiversary, you mentioned before it's on the 20th of July. I was just wondering, Mike, you'll be celebrating your birthday on the 16th of July. I'm just wondering, were you aware the PCO, you're celebrating your anniversary of wrestling on the 16th of July, same day as Mike's birthday, on 1988? Mike was born 2 years later in 1990. So, you know, how does it feel? You know, Mike, you'll be celebrating the birthday in PCO. You'll be celebrating your wrestling anniversary the same time as Slammiversary. So it's kind of poetic for the show to be on at the same time that week.
Yeah, so sort of, but it's hard to put a real year or a real date on my debut. Because at the beginning, you know, I did some matches that I don't think they counted it, the matches, or I don't know. I can't trust Wikipedia that much.
Yeah.
They still put my name, Carl Joseph Yvonne Willett, which is not my name at all. So I'm trying to get that changed. So if you think it's my anniversary of wrestling career, it might be wrong. I just want to say that. So I don't want to crash the party here.
So
That's okay.
July 16th is the accurate date for my birthday, July 16, 1990. However, it's unfortunate. I don't think I'll be celebrating on July 16th. I'm going to wait till July 22nd so I can come into Slammiversary in the best shape possible. And then I'm going to eat the biggest poutine you have ever seen in your life on July 22nd. In 5 minutes, I'm just going to gobble that thing down. I might have some birthday candles in the poutine. That might be the way.
Mike, you got to go to Como Pizzeria for your poutine. Best poutine in Quebec.
Where? Como? Where? In Saint Jean?
Candiac.
Candiac? Okay.
Nelson.
Done. Sold.
I'm going to need the address because I love poutine. It's fantastic. So good.
I may have to catch a flight. I may have to catch a flight to Montreal.
You should. Thank you very much, Jerry, for your question. Let's see who's up next. I'm seeing we're sticking in Europe with Billy. Billy from the Scottish Wrestling Network. Billy, how are you?
I'm doing great. This is actually a really cool moment for me because I had like 3 VHS tapes for the young kids you won't know growing up, and one of them was Royal Rumble '94. So I get to speak to PCO, who of course had that match with the Bret and Owen Hart. I'm in heaven already, and then finding out that Mike's birthday was the 16th of July. My son was born in 16th of July 2022. So this is just a wonderful moment all around for me here. Yeah, amazing. So yeah, I do have a question for the both of you. Is with Slammiversary on the horizon, and it got me thinking about all the creative matches that TNA have had in the past, and which you've been involved with. Is there a match type that you haven't yet had the chance to take part in that you'd be eager to try? So like PCO and Ultimate X, or Speedball and Monsters Ball?
When I came in 2003 in TNA, I came in the X division, and I had fun there, you know, for the time that I was there. But really, I mean, Mike was talking about winning all the titles with a different company. I've won all the titles in the company except the TV title. I've won the tag title. I won the 6-man, the trio title, and I've won the world title. So I know what he's talking about. And since I've won all those titles with the company, now it's almost been 3 years with TNA, 2.5 or 2 and something. I'm going to my 3rd year when I'm going to end up this contract. It'll be 3 years. And to me, like I said, it's always about always something like more that to me it doesn't degrade any other titles, but to me it's like towards something towards the world title, or towards something that's gonna step up in my career. Like that's the goal in itself.
Speedball.
So there's 2 matches that I really want to do, both of which I have proposed already. I don't really have a reason to do them right now, but I've proposed them. I've talked to them with creative, and they have been promptly shut down. The first one being Elevation X, that I would love to do.
Just gonna say that.
Right?
Yes.
I love the concept. I think the execution of the ones that have happened have all been fantastic. However, I can see why they might not want to do it. This is the other thing that I really want to do. I would like to do a Monsters Ball match, but the part where we're locked in a cage for 24 hours, I would like to live stream all of that.
Oh,
Live
wow.
stream those 24 hours so people up to the pay-per-view can connect and check in on what we're doing and see us bashing our heads in the cages.
Now, there's no food, no water, no light for 24 hours. Are you prepared for that part
Doable.
of it?
Well,
We
yeah,
do it all the
that's the
time.
whole point.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying.
We do it all the time. So why not do it in front of the people? It's not a bad idea.
That's fair. That's fair.
I knew PCO would be in for that one.
Oh, for sure. For
The
sure.
nice thing about Elevation X is we still have Rhino on the roster. So, like, you know, I'm sure Terry would love to do that again.
Oh man, so that's some memories. I'm gonna have to go through the TNA Plus and seek out some Elevation X. I've clean way out of my mind for a moment until you mentioned it. But
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you very
That
much
AJ
for
Styles versus Rhino is genius.
It
Like if
is.
you watch it and then break it down, it is just pure genius.
Mhm.
absolutely.
Billy,
Thank you very
thank
much
you.
for your time.
Thank you for your time and your question. All these matches we mentioned, by the way, you can watch on demand on TNA Plus. Just a shameless plug there. Sticking in, let's see, in the United Kingdom here, we're going to England with Nico from the Ministry of Wrestling. Hi, Nico.
Hey guys, can you hear me okay?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
very well.
Speedball, PCO, vous êtes tous les deux une très très grande inspiration pour tout le peuple ici au Royaume-Uni. On vous adore ici. Donc merci beaucoup pour tout ce que vous faites. Keeping it English now. PCO, I love the way that one week you're having a crazy hardcore match with Khan, and then the next week you're presenting Steph Delander of Black Rose. And Speedball, I just wanted to say, because I'm probably not going to get another opportunity like this, your match with Will Ospreay, art. If wrestling was art, mate, that moment was art. So thank you both for what you do. It's I'm the guy on Ministry of Wrestling who reviews TNA every single week. I love what you guys do. And Kevin from Sportskeeda was on earlier talking about Chicago being the greatest wrestling city in the world. Disagree, but that's fine. The most starved wrestling area in the world, I think you guys will agree, is probably the United Kingdom. Like, we're hungry for wrestling and we're hungry for TNA. And Tom, maybe you can jump in on this one too. Guys, when are you guys coming over here again? We got you at the Walker Dome last year under the Impact banner. I want to see PCO. I want to see Speedball Mike Bailey. I want to hear the melodious voice of Tom Hannafin here in the UK. When's it happening, guys?
For me, I don't have an answer for that. That's
Yeah.
That's Tom's
Yeah.
question.
I think that when it's time to announce it, we'll let TNA do it formally in some kind of great reveal. But I know that I'm sure I speak for all of us here. I wasn't lucky enough to be part of the TNA UK tour last year, but I heard it was fantastic.
It was.
And I know that PCO has been to a ton of different countries. And
Yeah.
one of my favorite things about my career is how much traveling I've gotten to do and how many different countries I've gotten to perform in. And it would be fantastic to see TNA not only go back to England, but go back to different countries in Europe. I mean, I think TNA in Italy would do great. TNA in Germany would be fantastic. I'm sure, again, PCO would have a lot of fun
Well,
memories going back to
But
Germany.
for me, the UK really launched my career. It's really where my career took off in the UK. Working like 25, 26 days a month, like being on the road constantly, packed in a car like that. And you know, my daughter is 15 years old, and there's a reason why her name is London. So
I
Oh,
love
Spain.
that. That's
Beautiful.
beautiful.
Spain. So she's got a little bit of the UK in her blood, you know.
I love that.
Yeah, I personally sincerely hope we do make it back to the UK. The UK invasion tour we did at the back end of last year. I got to call some of that remotely. Wasn't able to make the trip, but it was Turning Point was a wonderful event.
Yeah.
Some of my favorite memories in wrestling have been in the United Kingdom. NXT UK Takeover Blackpool 2. Had the pleasure of sharing that with Nigel McGuinness, who is just phenomenal, and Andy Shepard, who is also spectacular. Just some really amazing memories there. And then especially I was talking to Leon Slater this past weekend when we did TVs, and he echoes what Will Ospreay has said on our television of being a TNA kid and seeing AJ Styles and seeing Black Machismo, Jay Lethal, and those stars, those moments that really made him a fan. So it's been something that has been such a big part of TNA's identity for 22 years now, having a deep connection with the United Kingdom, because at the time it was the only alternative, and it was a great opportunity to go to the United Kingdom and our PR team, our marketing team, just does a wonderful job staying in touch with that marketplace. So I sincerely hope we get back there because I just love it in the United Kingdom. I'm ready for a road trip. Let's do it.
Well, this is it. Like so many of your TNA stars, I mean, I get to see them in the UK. Like, you know, your boy Trent Seven, he's a friend of the channel. We got to see him at Rev Pro. Leon Slater, likewise, you know. So it's not that we're starved for the stars, although I'd love to see you guys on the UK indie circuit. Speedball, PCO, whenever you're ready, man. Rev Pro is waiting. But like, I do want to see you guys in TNA in the UK this year, man. So please let the powers that be know. Egg that into existence, please.
Love to do my PCO entrance in the UK.
Yeah, man.
Oh, that'd be great.
This
We'll
is
do our
it.
best.
Bit about
All
PCO.
9 yards.
Thank you, Nico, for the question. We appreciate
Thank you,
it.
guys.
Just a reminder to the media, again, virtually raise your hands. We can take about 3 to 4 more questions here. We're going to wrap up probably around 4 p.m. Eastern time. PCO and Bailey have a lot on their plate. Let's go to France now, very apropos. Talk to Stephanie here from 3W Wrestling and Distortion Media.
Hello!
Hello,
Salut les
Stéphanie.
copains! Comment ça va?
Ça va bien, toi?
super, merci.
C'est very strange to be three French people and we have to speak in English because
That's
we have
all
to
right.
do it
That's
like
You're only
that.
doing it for me. Thank you very much. I appreciate
No,
it.
but for you, I would do anything, Tom, you know. Hello, Mike. Je suis super contente de te voir aussi. I wanted to ask you the fact that you are two French Canadian in that huge roster, does it create a special bond between you two? And I would like to know, and you told us a little bit about that, Mike, what PCO represents for you as a wrestler, and at the same time, Pierre, my friend, when you look at Mike, do you really like the wrestler he is? Et je vous remercie tous les deux, je vous adore.
This
Vous
is
savez.
I'm gonna try to stay short on it, but this is kind of weird because me and Mike were like both from Quebec, we're both Quebecois, but like we're not always together. We're not like friends, like he
Oh.
travels with other people that I travel with, or we mix up sometimes, but we don't hang out together. But have so much respect for Mike for like I said it before, for because I know what he's been through, and I know to get to that level what you have to go through. So, and from where he started in Laval, Quebec, and all the steps to be where he's at, that mean to be where I'm at in a way, and where he's going, or whatever we take it. But tremendous respect for Mike. I mean, there's not that many Quebecois that make it to the big time, and he's on the verge of exploding even more. So that means so much to me. I'm proud of him.
That really means a lot. Thank you so much. I mean, I feel the same way. Obviously, we're from very different eras, but I can only imagine as a French Canadian, as a Quebecois, PCO in his early career, just things like I know that PCO's accent, right? Which is a thing that I'm not sure if I've talked about this before, but I regret the way I speak English. And I tried very hard to sound like an American watching pro wrestling growing up and being like, these are the expectations. This is what you should sound like when you cut a promo. And now I'm at a point where when I am relaxed, you can't really tell that I'm French Canadian until I tell you. And I wish, part of me really wishes that I still had that accent. I wish it stuck out more. But that being said, I mean, of course, I have great admiration for PCO and everything he went through. And, you know, again, it's the wrestling was very different when PCO was starting. To me, it seems like it was a lot more difficult in terms of relationships and getting around locker rooms where it is now. Where now TNA, I mean, is one of the best locker rooms I've ever been in.
Yeah, it is, Mike. It is. I've seen so much bullying in my early years. You had to be tough, like, I mean, different tough, mentally tough, but also You had to be able to fight, really fight back, stand up, stood up, you know, for your ground. I've seen Dynamite Kid just, you know, beat the hell out of a kid, a 18-year-old kid, just because he was sitting at the wrong place and he didn't know that, you know. And it's not a knock on Dynamite. It's more of like the culture of pro wrestling. If you made a mistake in the ring back then, you know, you would get a beating, you know, unless you knew how to fight and you would defend yourself. So that's the difference, the bullying. Like Mike said, we got such a great locker room, and I don't, I know there's a lot of competition between all of us. Obviously, we're all competitive. That's why we're in this business. We all have our egos at some point, but I feel like we all get along. And if someone does well, I'm not jealous. I'm just trying to do better, to better myself, and to reach out another layer and another level in my own career. That pushes me more towards success. That's it.
Yes, and I feel that everything that PCO is describing is a direct result of the efforts that he made, especially for French Canadians or people that speak different languages to come to wrestling in the United States and be accepted and not, made fun of, bullied, or straight up assaulted, as was the style at the time. I mean, this is because of the hard work of that people like PCO did, and so of course I have tremendous admiration for him.
Stephanie,
Yes,
thank you for your
French. You can
time.
only imagine how proud I am of you too, and to be French and to be with you. I say goodbye, and I love you both. Bye, Tom.
Thank you, Stephanie. Let's go to Scott Mitchell from PW Mania. Scott?
Hi, can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes, we can. And now we can see you. There you are.
Awesome. How are you guys doing today? I appreciate, the time as always, and it's an honor to speak to PCO and Mike Bailey and a lot of fun. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you.
So my question would be earlier this year in January, at Hard to Kill, we saw the return of arguably my favorite promotion as a kid growing up, TNA. You guys both got to wrestle for Impact Wrestling, but how important is it to you to not just wrestle for Impact, but now be just wrestling under TNA, like under the name brand?
To me, TNA got more. Not that I wasn't proud of being Impact, but I'm wearing those letters with a lot of pride now, like because I think the history of the company is pretty great. You know, starting with Jeff Jarrett, the first era ever, and all the big names throughout the years: the Hogan, Randy Savage, Road Warriors, Steiners. Sometimes we forget about that, but all the big names of our industry, they were part of TNA. And I feel like TNA now, like with all the talented roster that we've got, I mean, for us, it's really elevating the company to a super major status. That's the goal to my goal as a team with the other member of the roster.
My feelings are a little bit different. I have great fondness for Impact and the name Impact. And when I started in Impact at Hard to Kill in 2022, maybe on the same show as Tom, if I remember correctly.
I remember it fondly, yes, sir.
Right? We had our debut together, and I'm sure Tom will attest to this. In just the 2 years that we spent in Impact there, we saw great change. And the company in itself has gone through many changes and different eras and different looks and different names. And the thing that I appreciated the most was about the name change was that we saw in those 2 years the evolution, the growth, even in just a short time. And compared to when I started, TNA, Impact, but whatever you want to call it, at the beginning of the year was a different company. It had a lot more momentum. It was a lot stronger, and I think for me, the return to TNA is just a great way to highlight the evolution of the company.
definitely. And I'm wearing an Impact shirt. I need to get a new TNA sweatshirt, but
Sorry.
I love the return to TNA.
We still got
Not
a
to
show called Impact on TNA, so
It's true.
it's good. It works.
not to
Oh, yeah.
undermine all the incredible TNA history that is available on the TNA Plus app.
I love the TNA Plus app. Highly recommend it to anyone thinking about it. You get to go back and watch so many good shows.
Yeah. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you
We
guys
appreciate
very
it.
much. I appreciate it.
Let's head to Thomas Lawson from SEC Scoops, or SE Scoops. It wouldn't be the SEC. That would be weird. Hi, Thomas.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, first of all, thank you for joining us today at PCO. Mike, Tom, always a pleasure. I've been loving the Canadian talk. I've always got my little Bret Hart here by my
Yeah.
work desk, keeping an eye on me. We've talked a lot about TNA's past, both of your guys' past, and we've talked a lot about what you've got planned, titles and all that. But I want to talk about way down the line at the very end. I want to talk about legacy and basically when all is said and done, what do you want to be remembered for most in TNA, in wrestling in general?
Well, for me, I have to look at it as a whole for TNA for sure, because that's where I'm at right now. But I have to look at a whole situation at the whole wrestling career, what I want to leave as a legacy. Um, I've been thinking about it for a long time, and when you think about that, like I mean, really, it doesn't mean anything to me. Uh, I mean, because it means everything to me, but I don't think it means something to others other than you along the way when you're doing it. You inspire people to be better, or you try to inspire people to be better, and you want to show them that when you put something into your mind and you constantly work at it and stay in line and work and wait and pay your dues and whatever, putting the efforts, do what others don't do the difference, the extra miles and things like that. That's really what counts to me. It's how you better it's how my career, how can you better yourself as a human being? How can you grow as a human being? It's all about the person in itself, because maybe the next two generations they're going to talk about so many championships and things like that, but this is just for me. This is just to keep me going. This is just for myself. For the others, eventually when I'm gone, and it's now we don't talk about Lutez that much, it doesn't really mean anything, or Mr. Poffo, not Randy, but his dad, or the further we go in the future, the less it meant something way back in the day. So if we have an ego about that, that's, to me, that doesn't, it's not very important to me. It's to feel proud of myself, to achieve the goal that I set for myself. And along that way, if it inspires other people to be better and to grow and to stretch themselves and to stress themselves to get better, then I've done my job. That's the most important thing to me.
Mike?
I completely agree with PCO. I mean, it's a fantastic feeling to become a champion, but I truly believe that the art of professional wrestling is a great tool for self-betterment, right? And I've known so many people. I have a lot of students that I have seen really discover themselves as people, not just as pro wrestlers, but through amplifying their own personalities in the ring and gaining confidence and becoming, you know what I mean, better versions of themselves through professional wrestling. And I mean, ultimately, that's the goal, is to inspire people to be great. And I think where that ties into TNA is that it's been a platform where pro wrestlers come in and they are allowed to be themselves. They're allowed to be who they are, and TNA helps them amplify that version. And I mean, I think that's a philosophically a beautiful thing. And I know, like, I don't want to minimize the importance of championships and accomplishments within pro wrestling, but the ultimate goal is really, it's about people, it's about inspiration, it's about making that connection with other human beings and helping other human beings become better through pro wrestling.
Quite profound with that.
Just for an example, sometimes, you have something that you have to achieve, and you have to face fears, and you have really to push yourself to go towards that, because it's just a natural instinct that your brain goes, oh no, maybe this can happen. Oh no, it won't happen because I practiced so much. And that's why repetition is so important. But you have to go to all those things that people sometimes try to avoid and stay in their comfort zone. And that's, I think, like, if we can, like, by our example, show that you have to get out of that comfort zone and face your fear, and after you're so proud of yourself. And that's the main thing. And that's what it is about when we want a championship or something. It's because in order to get there, we have to go through this. And that's the beautiful thing about it.
I think the act of setting a seemingly impossible challenge for yourself, and then knowing that it's going to happen. I mean, you've made the decision, you're going to have to face it sooner or later, because you decided to. Someone is going to staple your mouth shut, and you're going to have to remove those staples with your bare hands. That makes you stronger as a person.
Yeah.
Well, I'm feeling pretty inspired. Thank you for that, guys. I'll see you later.
Which is exactly what happened to the PCO at Under Siege. So there you go. 2023, that is. We are coming here to our last question. We are just short on time. I apologize to any members of the media that we were unable to get to, but I want to thank all of you from around the world for tuning in for this as a part of Montreal Week for TNA Wrestling. Our last question is going to come from Soul, who is the host of the Soul Sessions.
Oh, thanks, lads. I mean, me going last, I feel a bit of pressure now, but I'll try my best. I'll make my Scottish charm work its magic. But obviously, this Slammiversary special is the 20th Slammiversary chronologically right now, with many great events in the past. And obviously, TNA is hot right now. New fans are coming in and experiencing this company for the first time. So I want to know if you could maybe speak to some fresh new fans coming into TNA, and they can get TNA Plus and look back and see one past Slammiversary match from the whole history of this event. Lads, I want to know, which match would you guys pick?
I think that the main event of Slammiversary 2022 that opposed Eric Young and Josh Alexander, they did such a great job painting a picture of the history of TNA. And there were so many little nods and thank yous and tributes to all the greats of TNA, on top of just being an absolutely fantastic match between two people that have done so much for TNA as a whole.
For me, it's hard. Like, I feel like if I pick one, I'm gonna, forget about others, or I'm gonna disrespect others. I don't want to just pick one. I think they've been great, and I think that's me personally. To me, Slammiversary is like, for me, it's, for myself, the most important pay-per-view of the year. They're all important, but to me, this one, not because it's only in Montreal, but on top of that, it's in Montreal. And I'd rather focus on the one coming up than on the one in the past, and make this one unforgettable, and mark the history of TNA with this one.
Absolutely. I'm excited. Got my TNA Plus ready to go. Got all the drink ready as a Scottish man does. You know what I mean? I know somebody here was saying TNA come back to England. Scotland. Scotland's a real place. I'm just saying.
That was awesome for wrestling.
Oh, come on, it's United Kingdom, but it's Scotland plus the others. That's what I like to say.
I was gonna say, we have a guy named Joe Hendry, don't we?
Oh, look, if I could put Joe Hendry on the Scottish pound note, maybe it'll actually get accepted in English pubs. I'm just saying, that's maybe something we could do. But thanks, guys. I mean, honestly, I cannot wait for Slammiversary, TNA Plus, everything. Thank you for this opportunity, guys.
Thank you. We appreciate your time. PCO, Speedball, thank you both for your time. We appreciate it. And a reminder, get involved in TNA Wrestling's Montreal Week, this multi-week social media campaign. Head to TNAWrestling.com right now for full details. Tickets for TNA in Montreal, Slammiversary and TNA Impact, July 20th and July 21st, go on sale this Saturday, May 25th at 10 a.m. Eastern Time via TNAWrestling.com. Listen to PCO because he's on the ground right now in Montreal. These tickets will go fast, so you want to be there right on time. Gentlemen, thank you very much. And thank you all so much for tuning in to TNA Press Pass.